Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to take a look at the organization of the Constitution. So to kind of avoid confusion, I'm going to talk about constitutional articles, which are not the Articles of Confederation. And that's what kind of makes it difficult for us to do and to look at. So when we look at constitutional articles or the organization of the Constitution, what we're going to be looking at is how the Constitution is constructed. All right, missing work, you guys need to get to me. Peer evaluations, hopefully today. This is my backup plan. 3, when will you have those drafts for me? That's your exit ticket. Give me a date. I will pick the average date, and then we will go from there. And last but not least, if you guys need to redo your first quiz, the timetable is closing. Come take that at lunch. All right. So what we see when we look at the Constitution of the United States today, our focus will be the organization of that Constitution. We start off with what's known as the Preamble. The Preamble is an introduction to the document that is the Constitution of the United States of America, and it establishes the reasons for the creation of that document. Now, a perfect video, if you guys need help for memorizing it, is the Schoolhouse Rock Preamble video that goes something like, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect." Anyways, it walks you right through how to say it, and it explains a little bit about what it is. We will go over it in detail, but if you guys want to get a head start, that's a great place to start. Article 1 is about the legislative branch. It gives the amount of power to our legislatures and establishes them as the official lawmaking body of the United States of America. Article 2 is all about the executive branch and names the president for the first time as the supreme executive branch leader. It incorporates the enforcement of laws into the duty of the executive branch. Article 3 establishes the judicial branch of our government. It does very little to define what they can actually do other than set forth the organization of the courts of the United States. What the judicial branch could do, including what the Supreme Court's role was, would not be solved until 1803 when Chief Justice John Marshall writes the opinion for Marbury versus Madison, which gives the court oversight into how the government is being run. Article 4 discusses the relationships between states. They'll have full faith and credit from other states in all of their actions. Article 4 also establishes what it means to be a citizen of the United States, or the requirements that you have to meet. Article 5 explains the process of how we can go about amending the Constitution, and explains how the government and when the government can make changes. So we couldn't hold another constitutional convention to redo this until after a certain date, and it was an important idea. They didn't want us changing this all the time. Very little has changed in the document other than the amendments to it that are attached on the end. The document is still there. But the cool thing about this document is it's what's known as a living document. The meaning of the words on the paper seems to change quite frequently. Article 6 is all about the Supremacy Clause. The Supremacy Clause, not to be confused with Santa Claus, is about how federal laws will oversight or will be more powerful than state laws. So what it comes down to is that your state cannot be more powerful than the other states, and that's really an important idea for us to remember, because we need to make sure that the other states also realize that they are part of this government and they're not more powerful than that one. Article 7 is the last article, and it just says simply that we need to have 9 of 13 states to ratify this Constitution. We definitely learned our lesson from the Articles of Confederation here, only going with a simple basic three-quarters majority instead of a 100% agreement. And that was an important thing for getting this document ratified. The last piece on there is not really necessarily part of the Constitution when it was written, but it was kind of added as a way to get the ratification through for those that were concerned about an all-powerful government a la King George that we just fought a revolution to kind of free ourselves from. The Bill of Rights is a collection of amendments to the Constitution that change things or add things like personal freedoms and liberties. So when you guys think freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the right to not have to testify against yourself, the right to be private in your persons and possessions, etc., those all fall in the Bill of Rights, which is an attachment to the Constitution of the United States. So when we start going over this, we'll start to look at these actual things and what they mean. And we're going to break out into the branches very shortly, and we're going to take a look at the legislative branch, we're going to take a look at the executive branch, and we'll take a look at the judicial branch as we get going. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy.